Good morning, and thank you for coming to this session. I'm really excited about sharing my DevOps experience with you. What's in the way is the way. What do I mean? When we are implementing DevOps in large, traditional, complex organizations, your journey is not going to be like this, no matter how much you want it to be like this. Instead, it's going to be something like this. You're going to meet a lot of challenges, difficulties. At times, those challenges can be daunting and overwhelming, and we can get very easily discouraged. But the challenges and obstacles can also be your creative energy. We need to take a little different attitude. We need to let go of the expectation that our journey should be smooth and nice. Like a play a Tetris game, we have no control of what we have. And we have no control of what comes to us. We simply focus on how to figure out how to deal with the situation as each piece is thrown at us. With this, what's in the way can actually point into the way of solution. This is what I mean, what's in the way is the way. In early 2015, I finally got the chance to move from ops to dev. Prior to that, I was the IT operations manager in one of the most challenging IT operations in a global automotive company. My plan was 24/7. It made high volume, high value product. If my IT system was shutting down the production line, the company will lose $45,000 every single minute. The pressure was very high. So you can imagine when I finally moved from ops to dev, I was telling myself, okay, my life is going to be so wonderful. I'm going to be like a semi-retiring. Of course, quickly I found that's not true. Devs even suck more than ops. My organization was following the traditional waterfall method with a lot of handoffs, long release cycles. We could only release software every 6 to 9 months. But it took us 8 weeks just to set up the lower environment for each release. The release weekend is a non-stop 3 days, 3 nights weekend. Once we release the software, it's like this little robot on the floor. It rarely works. So we usually spend 6 to 8 weeks just to mop things up. We call it a post-launch forum. I was thinking to myself, there got to be a better way, right? And so I spent the next 1.5 years studying how the best software company deliver their software. And in the process, I learned about CICD DevOps, including reading Gene, every book from Gene. Fast forward 10 months. By May 2018, we were able to release software every two months or more frequent. And it took us about 1 week to set up instead of 8 weeks. And we cut down the deployment time from 3 days, 3 nights to about 10 hours. If the speed is good, quality is even better. On this chart, the blue bars represent the total number of defects plus deployment failures. The orange bar pretty much the deployment failures. The first 4 releases were the traditional manual, and the last 2 was using CICD pipelines. As you can tell, we cut down the defects, the release failures, by about 90%. Releasing software faster with better quality is probably every company's dream that is undergoing digital transformation, which is also why I'm working at J.B. Hunt Transport now, leading its DevOps initiatives. J.B. Hunt is a transportation service company from the beautiful Northwest Arkansas. It has the largest domestic 53-footer container fleet in North America. In 2018, we had about 28,000 employees with close to $9 billion of revenue. And we had 2,000 employees in IT, and we grew very fast too. And our flagship digital product is called J.B. Hunt 360. It's a digital breakage software. But the work I'm sharing with you today actually is from my previous employee. Let's just call it a global automotive company. It's 10 to 20 times larger than J.B. Hunt. And it has global footprint with millions of customers. The sub-organization, my team and I worked to develop the CICD capacity has 250 developers divided into 26 squads. Pretty evenly split between North America and Asia with a couple of squads in Europe. We support about 50 applications, mostly CART applications with very heavy customization. And the computing environment has hundreds of servers, all three operating systems, Windows, Linux, and Solaris. And we support about 30,000 users globally. So it's a fairly complex computing environment. We have a lot of challenges that's unique to us. But the 5 lessons I shared with you today are pretty common across all companies and industries. Let's look at the number 1. In the beginning, we probably do not have the kind of DevOps expertise. Really, there are two ways you can get those people: hire from outside or develop your own. In the last 3 years, I have conducted at least 50 to 60 interviews for DevOps engineers. I can tell you, hiring from outside is very difficult, time-consuming, very costly, and the quality is not always guaranteed. So very quickly, I realized, you know what? A better choice would be developing our own people. We all have good developers and manual packages in our company who are passionate about software delivery. We also have good system admins who can code and who like to automate. Those are the best candidates for the DevOps engineer. The challenge is we need to convince our people they have to be automated, not to be automated. What I did was telling my team, okay, this is new to us. I don't know how to do it, you don't know how to do it, let's work together, figure it out. We have 3 choices. Option 1, let's all step up in the next 3 to 6 months. Let's figure out how to do this thing together. Option 2, you may say, okay, that's not for me. I'm to this or to that. That's fine. We are a big company. I can help you to move on, do something else. Option 3, stay where you are. Really, that's not a good option because if everybody is stepping up, that means you are slipping downward. So in the end, I did have a few people choose to do something else, and a few people I have to take actions to take them, find them different alternatives. Once we have a team in place, we need to create an environment so they can learn, they can help each other, they can grow. That including changing the physical working environment, like from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. That's very critical for you to develop your people and also developing your high-performing teams. So if I think back, if I were given a lot of money, had a lot of people, I don't believe we would be as successful as we are, because in the end, some of the best performing engineers actually are from our own team, the engineers we developed into, not those ones we hired from outside. The next challenge, how do you balance the ongoing support with automation? Many of us are not giving a big budget, hire a new team just to the development. Instead, we have to do ongoing support, ongoing release. Even you are giving a new team just to focus on developing, but you will find once your thing is working, you are going to face the same issue because people start love your stuff, they depend on you. So you have to make hard choices, you have to prioritize, and we all know making choice is not easy. When my daughter was 4 years old, we took our family to Disney for vacation. At the end of the first day, my wife was telling our two kids, each of you can pick up one toy from the store. So we spent the next 45 minutes in the store until the store was closed. My daughter was sobbing, she was crying. She did not pick a single thing. She loves everything about Disney. So you force her to pick up one thing. That means she has to give up everything else. That's a lot of stress. But think about it. If it's difficult for a 4-year-old to make hard decisions, I think it's even harder for us grown-ups, for managers or executives to make hard choices. I want to show a hand. Which of you are only working on one thing, one task, are allowed to do that by your boss? Okay, that's common. All right, so we have to make choices, right? A common way of prioritizing is you draw those 4-quadrant chart, not important, important, not urgent, urgent. What's going to happen? Everything is in that quadrant. Obviously, this way of prioritization is not working, but why? Look at this. If you have been in the corporate world for a little while, you understand anything asked by your management has to be important, has to be urgent. So if you are asking them to put something in this quadrant, you are insulting their intelligence, right? Here is my improved version of the quadrant. Believe it or not, I had a lot more success using this version with my stakeholders. So once you can prioritize, then you can focus on your resource, on those top priority things. So if I'm thinking back, if my team were not having to do the support so many things at the same time, we probably not really spend time to prioritize, and we would not be able to deliver so quickly. But because of this, we were forced to focus on those most important things, most urgent things. I'm going to talk about the next two challenges together. They both are very difficult technical challenges in CICD pipelines. Let's look at my architecture. In the very beginning, I was very jealous of those companies who have those microservices architectures, okay, they can deliver smaller changes, continuously release those into production with full automation. But unfortunately, this is what I was dealing with, legacy architecture, and there is no quick and easy way of modernize. Although it has to be done, obviously that's out of my team's control. So the question to you as the leader of DevOps, what are you going to do before that's happening? What are you going to do in the meantime? Similarly with test automation. When we start test automation, our DevOps journey, we probably do not have a good automated test to begin with. Even you have some test automation, I think the chances you will quickly find out those test automations are not good enough for CICD pipelines. On this chart, this is real data from a very successful large software company. And this is from one of their biggest product line. As the orange bar show you, on this chart show you, in the beginning, they already had a lot of test automation. But they found the same thing. They found those test automations are not fast enough or too flaky for CI/CD pipeline. So they had to spend the next 2 years to redo their entire test automation suites. So the question again to you as a leader of DevOps, what are you going to do in the meantime? One thing my team and I realized very early on is 80% of our customer requirements actually are very simple, cosmetic, very easy to automate, very easy to release. You don't need to shut down the system even to apply those changes. But those are the features our customer always wants to have yesterday, today, next week, instead of waiting for 6 months. So that is an obvious opportunity for us to construct our CI/CD release trains with two tracks. One is the express train. We can release very quickly. We run the train more frequent. We could probably deploy 80% of our changes that way and leave the other 20% to the free train for the big batch release. This is how it works. Assuming in the next 3 months or 12 weeks, we have 300 changes. If we have this free express train, we release 20 changes per week. For 12 weeks, that's 240, 80%. That left 60 for the free train, for the batch release in the end. As you can see, by doing this way, your big batch release becomes a lot more smaller. And when we started this express release program, we pick up one simple thing, style sheet, and there are 5 changes for the first time. It was success, right? As we gaining more experience, we slowly increase the complexity and the types of changes. And we also increase the total number of changes we can do every week. And we got a very good results. The first 6 release for the 6 weeks, we released 61 changes into production with only 1 failure. And we fixed the 1 failure in 30 minutes. So basically the failure rate was 1.6%, MTTR was 30 minutes. So as you can see, the legacy architecture did not preventing us from using CI/CD and release more frequently. Instead, it taught us a lot of valuable lessons. Like we pick up the easy changes as the learning experience for our team. It taught us the value of a small batch release, more frequent release. We clean up the backlog for the devs teams. And the best of all, because we are doing it so frequently, we were forced to release during normal business hours. Because if we were asking our folks to do this kind of release every weekend or off hours, people are probably going to quit on us. So it ended up very positive for us. Similarly, with the lack of test automation, we did not have a lot of good test automation, but we developed a small set of critical integration tests. And we use those tests as guide rails, complemented by manual validation in both the lower environment and in production. I'm sharing this snippet of IM between myself and my business partner. As you can tell, as the release was in progress, I was texting my business partner in real time. Okay, this job is done, this job is done, this job is done, you can check. As a result, we developed a very close relationship with our business. Now, down to my last lesson I want to share. This is probably the most difficult aspect of any DevOps initiative is the people's resistance to change. This is just a fact of life, right? Our work habit, the processes, procedures were the result of many years of work. If we can get by, we don't want to change. I don't like to change. Nobody likes to change for no reasons. And yesterday, the talk about CompuWell, the CEO coming in, he said, yeah, we need to change, everybody. So that's a rarity, right? If you have a CEO like that, count yourself as lucky. But for the rest of us, you're going to have to be very patient and take a collaborative approach with what you do. Even very small changes can become a big deal. Here is an example. In April 2018, after 4 months of using CICD pipelines for weekly release into production, I feel we were ready for the big batch release using CICD. And this is my hand-drawn release plan for that first CICD release. And one of the decision points is actually, when are we going to have those checkpoint meetings during the release? Because traditionally, our organization would have one checkpoint meeting every 4 hours. In the previous weeks, my team already conducted 4 rehearsals using the same CICD pipeline for the release. And started from April 16, we were taking 34 hours to deploy. And with each iterations, we cut down the time. 2 days before that production release, we actually were down to 9 hours. So I was very confident if we budget 12 hours, we should be able to deliver. Actually, the production release was 7 hours on May 4th. So that was a pleasant surprise. Back to the meeting, talk about whether we should have those checkpoint meetings every 4 hours. Here is the conversation between myself and my business partner. When I was suggesting, you know what, we don't need to have those meetings every 4 hours. If something goes wrong, IT, we just fix it, right? Instead of waking you up in the middle of the night. This is the response I got from my business executive. She said, that's condescending. Maybe I know you are still fairly new to our organization, and you probably don't know. We are so used to get up at night every 4 hours, even if it's 3 days, 3 nights. I said, okay, what about we do this? Let's have the first checkpoint at 10 p.m. Friday, And instead of doing the next one at 2 a.m., let's push to 4 a.m. I said, because 2 a.m., the Jenkins is going to be busy installing software. There's really not for us to talk about. She said, okay, let's do it at 4. Here's my conversation with my business partner at 4 a.m. Saturday morning. I said, we are done. If you want to call the business testers, start testing, please go ahead and do so. And of course, she said, wow, that's 5 hours ahead of schedule. No, I think it's a lot of hassle to call people this early. Why don't you go ahead and send your people home? We're going to stick with 8 a.m. original time. I can tell you, that was my happiest moment of my DevOps journey. So with the CICD pipelines, we pretty much got rid of what I call the post-launch release support in the 6 to 8 weeks when I talked about that in the beginning. And after the May release, we had the meeting on Monday morning. And the meeting lasted for about 5 minutes because all the issues were already resolved. There were no new issues. And in the June 2nd release, we scheduled a meeting on Monday morning. No business people even showed up. So we basically got rid of that thing. In summary, difficulties and challenges can be the source of your creative energy and your creativity. And you need to take a different perspective. And you need to let go your expectation what CICD journey should be look like, what DevOps initiative should be like. You expect a lot of challenges on the way, but also you can treat those challenges as an opportunity for your, because what's in the way can actually point into the way of solution. With this, I think you should be able to surprise and delight your customers, deliver value to the business. Above all, your life is going to be much, much better. Of course, the journey never ends. I know mine is not. I was talking about the architecture, the test automation. What we did is just walk around, waiting for those to be changed. But the hard work is still there. How are you going to modernize your legacy system? And how are you going to accelerate the test automation? Right? Of course, in the conference, we heard a lot about how to bring business to the agile, so we are not doing this big waterfall type of planning up front. Thank you for your time, for your attention. I probably have time for 2 questions. Any of you? Okay, no questions. Thank you. Oh, go ahead.
So you mentioned that you had a lot of COTS applications. What was one of the biggest challenges that you faced trying to model DevOps into utilizing the COTS space?
There are many challenges. A couple of those come to the top of my mind is their development cycle versus ours. Because they have, if they are using waterfall, and they're probably going to release to you like every 6 months or 12 months. And how are you going to synchronize your release cycle with them and developing the features release your feature into production? That's one. Number 2 is how are you going to manage those backward and forward compatibility, right? Anybody else? Okay, thank you so much for your attention.